Everybody. My name is Brett Vitkin, and I'm one of the master's level trainees here at CAPS. And so part of our outreach program, I decided that it may be beneficial for us to have a conversation about meditation. We talk a lot about mindfulness and different ways we can cultivate mindfulness in our lives. And one way that has been pivotal for me and pivotal for my clients is meditation. And one meditation style that I've used widely in my own life and again in my own practice is Vipassana meditation. And so with this series, what I'm going to be doing is doing what I would consider connecting the dots. So I think it's very important that I not just explain how to meditate, how to sit for 10 minutes and monitor your breathing, or how to do a least on the stream meditation, or how to do a body scan meditation. Those are important. But I think it's also important that we root our practice in the what. What is meditation? Where does it come from? Why should someone meditate? What are the benefits? What does the research say? What is the history of meditation? Who meditates? Where should you meditate? When should you meditate? These are all questions that throughout my time teaching meditation, working with meditation, and learning with teachers is the more we understand the holistic concept of meditation, I think the better our practice becomes, because we have a general framework, we have a way in which to interpret our experience, and we have a way in which to relate that experience to ideals and concepts that have been around for thousands of years. And so some of you are probably wondering, well, what is Vipassana? I haven't heard that word before, or if you have, you maybe don't really understand the roots of it. So Vipassana is a meditation tradition pulled from Theravada Buddhism, which is the oldest line of Buddhist religion that's ever existed. And the word Vipassana is a Pali word which translates to insight. And another common way of discussing Vipassana is experiencing reality as it is. And I'll dig into more of that as it is, as that's a very loaded statement. But really, Vipassana is a practice that was embedded in Theravada Buddhism to gain insight into the nature of consciousness and its contents. And so Vipassana differs from other meditation practices that maybe you have heard about. So we have Samatha, we have Vipassana, and we have Metta. And these are all widely beneficial, I think, depending on what you're looking for in terms of meditation practice, that these are all great options. But I choose Vipassana as many teachers who I've talked to and learned from say it's a really great starting point to build into other practices, and it's the easiest one to digest. So to just go over these three very quickly, we have Samatha, which is concentration. So focusing on one point. If anyone has ever heard of mandala meditation usually is incorporated into a Samatha meditation where you focus on the center and use that as a meditative practice. Then we have Vipassana, so we have a diffuse or an open monitoring of experience. So trying to tune in as closely to touch, smell, sight, taste, and in hearing. And then we have Metta, which is compassion. So having equanimity for all beings and spreading loving kindness, not only to those beings, but to ourselves. The other two are more applied, whereas I think Vipassana is an amazing practice in that it doesn't require you to do anything. It only requires you to experience your experience and experience consciousness with an open awareness and a curiosity. And so looking again at the roots of this practice, and really what we're trying to build with this practice is insight. So again, insight, which comes from the Theravada tradition, the word Vipassana, and then the quality of mind cultivated in Vipassana is called sati, or mindfulness, which is again that buzzword that's become very popular in present time. And how do we define mindfulness? So mindfulness is simply a state of open, non-judgmental, and non-discursive attention to the contents of consciousness, whether pleasant or unpleasant. And that right there encapsulates a simple yet incredibly complex practice of sitting with ourselves, sitting with our experience, and simply having a curiosity about it. We tend to become lost in our experiences. We tend to tell ourselves stories, thinking about, well, what should I do? What about this person? Do they like me? Do they not like me? We follow things to an end, and we end up wasting energy, wasting attention, and wasting time on things that are inherently not real, that are not part of our experience. We judge ourselves for our experience when that judgment actually doesn't do us any favors. And so by cultivating mindfulness, by taking 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes a day to truly tune into our experience, to hit the mental gym is an analogy I've heard used before. It shows us and it teaches us the mechanics of mindfulness, what it means to be truly mindful. And then the heart of practice is not only consistent mindful awareness on the mat or or in the chair or on your bed, but it's translating that experience into the real world. And that really gets into the why of practice, why we should be practicing, which I'll tackle in the next video. But I really wanted to talk to you about what Vipassana is, what this practice is all about. And at the heart of it is cultivating mindfulness. We're just simply trying to develop deeper insight into our experience, into the content of consciousness, and to create space between our emotional reactions, our thoughts, our sensations, and where we are. Because if we can create that space, if we can have that mindful insight, we can then behave and act in ways that are in line with our values.